Okay. Warmly greetings to all of you. I deeply appreciate and grateful for your full presence in today's learning space. In session 3, we clarify core point together, ultimate designs in the mental images that are repeated form in the mind. Whichever image is repeated enough, that reality readily takes steps. So the next question is, by which law does that reality operate? That is exactly the content of section 4 today. We now enter the knowledge flow of good cause, favorable condition, and desirable outcome, because no desirable outcome appears on its own. Is it always the result of a good cause meeting a favorable condition? Today we will clarify this together. Today we will explore a very important topic. Before entering this content, I would like to share a formula with all of you. This is a formula that can accompany us for the rest of our lives. Please help me write down this formula. Okay, I would like to share the second camera. Okay, good cause, good cause, good cause, good cause, plus favorable condition, plus favorable condition. Favorable condition. Condition results in the desirable outcome, results in a desirable outcome. Yes, good cause plus favorable condition results in this desirable outcome. This formula is developed based on the laws of cause and condition and the laws of cause and effect. There are two of the most important laws in human life governing the course of a person's life. So, how can we live in alignment with the laws of cause and effect and the laws of cause and condition to have a happy and desirable life? Regarding cause and effect, people usually focus on cause and effect within their worldly view. We identify what outcome we want, then create the corresponding cause to achieve that outcome. That is cause and effect within the worldly world. cause and effect within the cosmological view teaches that what we do while alive determine where we go after death. However, cause and effect within the human life view is very difficult for people to control. In this sharing, we focused on cause and effect within the human life view. And the formula apply in human life is good cause plus favorable conditions lead to a desirable outcome. This formula is developed based on the laws of cause and condition and the laws of cause and effect. I would like to repeat that this formula is developed based on the laws of cause and condition and the laws of cause and effect. There are two of the most important laws in human life governing the course of a person's life, the laws of cause and effect, and the laws of cause and condition. So, how can we live in alignment with the laws of cause and effect and the laws of cause and condition in order to have a happy and desirable life? Regarding cause and effect, people usually focus on cause and effect within the worldly view. For example, now we want to eat a delicious mango. If we want to eat it in the long term, we take the mango seed we only ate, plant it, water it. After that, fertilize it and care for it so the tree bears fruit. After that, we care for it step by step and enjoy the outcome. If we want to build a house, we know what we need to do to have the house we desire. That means we know what outcome we want and then create the corresponding cost to achieve that outcome. That is the cause and effect within the worldly view. Cause and effect within the cosmological world teaches that what we do while we are alive determine where we go after death. If we can manage that, we can manage cause and effect within the cosmological view. However, cause and effect within the human life view is currently very difficult for people to control. For example, when getting married, people expect a harmonious and happy marriage, but it is not guaranteed. When having children, people expect to raise them well, but that is also not guaranteed. Regarding health, relationship, finance, business, or investment, people can hardly manage costs and effects in a comprehensive way. Therefore, the laws of cause and effect includes cause and effects of the worldly view, the human life view, and the cosmological view. And the applied formula is good cause blood favorable condition leads to a desirable outcome. This is the uplink. Application of cause and effect within the human life view. I will give an example of cause and effect within the worldly view so that we can understand how to apply it to the human view. Please cooperate with me for a moment. For example, we now have a very good seed that can grow into a giant tree. If we plant that seed on a concrete ground, will it sprout and bear fruit? If we plant that seed on concrete ground, will it sprout and bear fruit? No. Why? Because the suitable environment for development is not present. In these terminologies, it means there is no favorable condition. Even with a good cause, without a favorable condition, it can produce a desirable outcome. Next example, we choose very fertile land where any seed planted will be well nourished. But before planting, we boil that seed and then plant it. After that, we water and fertilize it, hoping it will grow and bear fruit. When the seed is already dead, even with favorable conditions, it cannot produce a desirable outcome. Because it's not good. Even a favorable condition cannot create a desirable outcome. In another case, we have a very good cause, blend in very good blends, care for it properly, and the tree begins to bear fruit. We continually exhaust on the fruit season after seasons, the tree will weaken and no longer produce a desirable outcome. I use this worldly view example to prepare for discussing the human life view. From now through the upcoming sessions is a very important journey because we will clearly understand cause and effect, especially the cause within human life. There is a saying, ordinary people discuss outcomes, enlightened beings discuss causes. Ordinary people focus on the outcomes of their life. Wise people focus on creating good cause and favorable conditions so that when conditions are sufficient, a desirable outcome naturally appears. Most people outcome but rarely return to cultivate the cause. Therefore, in the coming days, we will explore the laws of cause and effect within human life. Please write down the law of cause and effect within human life. The laws of cause and effect within human life. And at this point, I consider it a blessing to have been guided by wise mentors on this matter. So we will explore together the laws of cause and effect within human life. So, how many aspects? How many aspects influence the outcome of a person's life within human life today? How many aspects? That is one of the questions for us to reflect on what is shaping and influencing our lives. Wise men point out that a person's life today is governed by three perspectives. Three perspectives. The first perspective is the scientific view or science. That's science. Science. First is science. Science. Here's another one notice that our lives are being influenced by this perspective. Are our arguments mostly grounded in this perspective? Perspective. Whenever we want to do something, we often rely on the scientific view to carry it out. That's all. This is a frame of reference that people rely on for thinking and acting. Therefore, we can conclude that this perspective is influencing our human life. The second perspective is views of religion and faith. Religions. Religion. Faith. Too many of us also rely on this perspective when reflecting on life. Some people grow up within a religious tradition, so their thoughts and actions revolve around that belief. The third perspective is moral philosophy that over human life. Moral philosophy. Moral philosophy that governs human life. Through many years of living, people distill moral principles and pass them down to the next generation. And everyone's birth is influenced by these three perspectives. Some inclined toward science, some toward religion and belief, and other toward moral principle or moral philosophies. However, a person's life cannot be separated from these three perspectives. So, how do we return to the good cause within our human life? From the scientific perspective, whether the root cause applied in human life originate from the perspective of religion and belief, whether the root cause applied begin, and from the moral perspective, whether the root cause applied in this human life arise. If we rely and deeply understand the three perspectives and see where the root cause of our life in human life begin, it means we understand the cause in our human life. Everyone, do you grasp the intention behind the knowledge I am about to share? That means that everyone is influenced by these three perspectives: science, religions, and thought and moral philosophy. If we stand from the scientific view, whether the root cause of our current life begin from marriage and family, and from educating our children, from every issues happening in our life, and from the religions, health, where do our marriage and our health and everything we currently have begin. And from the moral philosophy, whether everything we are having in our life begin. If we find these three perspectives and understand where the cause of our human life come from, it means we have penetrated the cause of human life. So, in the coming days, we will explore the cause within ourselves through the three perspectives. And if we want to manage the outcome in human life, we must know that. We must know what the cause in human life is and how the favorable conditions operate. We understand this. We create good cause, then with favorable condition and by nurturing good cause, we simply harvest desirable outcome in human life. I would like to share about the cause in our human life from the scientific view. In other words, whether the root cause of human life begin from the scientific view. If we truly understand this perspective about our life and every issues happening in human life, this may be a very special realizations. Special realizations. From that moment on, we will no longer worry or be afraid. We clearly understand cause and outcome. Whatever cause we create will produce its corresponding outcome. From the scientific view, understanding this can be defined by me as a type of realization in human life. From now on, you can slant every issues in life from the scientific view, the religious and belief-based on view, and moral views in human life, so that when our children ask, we have the answer. This is a journey of rising awareness, lasting about 45 minutes to 1 hour. When I interact, please engage so that together we can understand the root cause of our life from the scientific view. Everyone, please write down the words outcome. Through the word's outcome, we use it to represent the life outcome of a human being. Yes, we borrow beautiful words to name the life outcome of a human being. Yes. All right. At this moment, even ask you to give one word. Whether a single word or compound words that you believe directly impact the life outcome of a human being. Outcome. Write with me. Outcome. 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 You are allowed to choose one word, not more. Those who are learned before may pause, and those who have not yet know may answer me. If you choose one word that you think directly impacts the life outcome of a human being, what words would you choose? Some may say cause, some may say actions, thoughts, love, choice, effort, conscious desire, awareness, understanding, or character. Yes. Remember that words must directly impact our life outcome. And the wise point us to the word choice. 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 I will explain why the word is choice. Remember, it's a choice, not selection. And I will clarify the difference in the coming days. The entire chain of choices in the past determine our life outcome today. We choose what we eat or not eat, whom to spend time with or not, to face difficulties or avoid them, to read a book or not, to do a job or not. Is it not precisely that chance of choices which determine our life outcome today? Agreeing with this is extremely important because agreement means we recognize that it's precisely our choice that creates today's life outcome. The inner tendency of human being is that whatever is desirable is considered our own choice, and whatever is undesirable is considered someone else's choice. If the marriage is happy, we say it is because I choose. But if it is undesirable, we say someone else forced me. If awareness is not elevated, people often believe achievement are theirs, while undesirable outcomes are other ones. But if we understand that our choices create the outcome, then right at this moment, we can have the awareness that the root cause of life begins with me. For what it begins from and why, we will explore that later. But here we can temporarily rarely admit that it truly comes from my choice, and whatever I chose at that moment was essentially correct. If we had been a bad option to choose, I would have chosen it. I would have had no reason not to choose the better ones. Every choice we made at that moment were right, because if there had been another option, we would have chosen it. The moment we made the decision, that choice were the most suitable and the most correct. So here, please have me temporarily accept this awareness, which is the root cause of life begin with me. This awareness is extremely important. If someone realizes that the root cause of life begins with me, all resentment can dissolve instantly. This is the foundation of a tolerant mentality and a tolerant character. We add the phrase, but it is not my fault. It is not my fault. Because we continue to blame ourselves. That is a state not suitable for the inner being. At the very moment we chose, that choice was already the most correct within our awareness at that time. We temporarily accept that the root cause of life begins with me, and my mission is to help you internalize this awareness so that our life can have peaceful days when we hold this awareness. So the question arises, what causes us to make these choices? The one when asked deeply enough, will answer that they choose because it feels suitable. Yes, suitable, alike, like or suitable. Yes, they choose because it feels suitable, they like it, or they choose it. Share this example based on myself so that everyone can relate more clearly. For example, today I choose to wear a shirt, blue dress. Okay, I choose to wear a blue dress. If someone asks why I am wearing blue instead of another color, the answer is very simple. Because I like blue or because I feel that blue suits me. Perhaps I felt that blue creates a calming sensation aligned with my mentality today. Perhaps I think blue makes my face look brighter. Perhaps I believe that blue symbolizes peace and maturity. Whatever the reason, at the moment I chose that dress. The choice was the most suitable for my level of awareness at that time. If there had been an option that I perceive as better, more beautiful, or more suitable, I would have chosen it. No one naturally chooses what they perceive as inferior within their awareness at that moment. With the loose breast, I can easily say, I like it. I feel it's suitable me, I choose it. But if there is a resource in life that I do not like, I may not want to say that I was aligned with that resource. However, when will rule, the same principle as the loose rest any results that appear in life is something that at some point within a certain level of awareness I was alive with and therefore I reacted. When I dare to temporarily accept the awareness that the root cause of life begin with me and the energies of resentment begin to dissolve. At the same time, it must be remembered the root cause of life begin with me, but the form did not come from me. So if today I no longer want that result, the right questions is what is determining my choices? When I understand what determines my choices, only then do I truly have ab- the ability to transform the results in my life. The wise point out that is a human character or personality, personality, personality or character. that determine a person's choices. And concludes one thing, which is that a person's characters or personalities align with the circumstances they are experiencing. When a person falls into any circumstances, it is because their characters is such that it brings about that circumstances. When character determine our direction, we feel that we like certain things or that certain things suit us. Very character also determine whatever comes to us is attracted by that character. So at this bond, we can say if we want to transform the results, we must begin by transforming our character. I would like to restate this once more for clarity. It is precisely because our character, our personality, that we feel we like certainly things and that certain things suit us. From that sense of linking and suitability, we make choices. We make choices and create results in life. At the same time, that every character makes us align with certain things and thereby attach them to us. This means that character determines both what we choose and what comes to us. When this is understood, we begin to clearly see the connection between personality and results in human life outcome. I would like to restate this once more for clarity. Is it precisely because our character, our response personalities, our personalities that we feel we like certain things and that certain things suit us. From that sense of liking and suitability, we make choices. We make choices and create results in line, an outcome. Sometimes we that every character or personality character make us align with certain things and thereby attract them to us. This means that character determine both what we choose and what come to us. Thank you. When this is understood, we begin to clearly see the connection between character and results in human life. I give an example so that everyone can understand more clearly. In the case of choosing a shirt, everyone may not fully grasp it yet. But I give another example in life to illustrate it more clearly. There is a woman who dates a man, and after a period of time she betrayed. She feels that men have brought her suffering. Because of the impression of that betrayal, she continued to look for another man. Eventually, she finds a very faithful man, but after some time, for some reason, he also betrays her. Then the third person repeats the same pattern. Through this example, we can see that the issues do not lie only in the man, it lies in the woman's character and what that character attracts. Character determines her choices, and that same character also determines what will come to her. Can we conclude that all men in this life are unfaithful? Or is it that the woman with a certain character has attracted that group of men? When we fall into a certain circumstances, if our awareness is truly correct, we will understand and we ourselves have attracted that circumstance. Because we are compatible with that circumstance, it appears in our life. Hello, chào bạn. Our character align with certain circumstances, and those circumstances will come. A person works at a company and is treated badly by colleagues. After that, the person changes company but continue to face the same situations. If we have enough awareness, can we look back and see that we were compatible with that environment? Yes, I will make friends with you when I finish the sharing lesson today. Thanks, all fam. People easily admit that desirable outcomes come from what they like and align with. But for undesirable outcomes, we do not want to admit they were once aligned with them. If anyone realizes this, they must immediately change their character in order to change the outcome. But not everyone knows which character will create different results. Everyone knows that choice leads to results, but few people realize that character determines that choice. Can change the outcome, one must change the choice. And to change the choice, one must change the character or personality. Do you understand up to this point? Someone may ask, what's happened when a child is nearsighted and the parents take the child for an eye exam and buy glasses? Let us reflect on whether we have ever truly forced our child to eat something the child did not accept. If it happens, it may only be once or twice, and afterward, the child will no longer want to touch it. Unless the child truly accepts it. Therefore, on the surface, it may seem that the parents are the ones making the decision. But in essence, the child is still choosing at their own level of awareness. Even buying clothes for a child is the same. By around 3 years old, a child has already formed foundational awareness. If the child does not accept the outfit, the child will not wear it. We may try to force this, but we cannot change the inner choice of the child. What matters is to internalize the awareness that choice creates the outcome. That choice always aligns with the character at the moment. And this very moment, instead of blaming others or trying to change eternal fixtures, we decide that the most foundational step is to change our character. But when we begin to look deeply into character, no one clearly knows how to change it. Therefore, experts begin to explore that what determines character or determines personality. They propose a concept that human habits determine character. From that point, the world began focusing on changing habits. People believed that changing habits would create better character and better life outcomes. But through experience, people realize that no inherently good or bad habits. Habit. No inherently good or bad habits. Only habits align with certain outcomes. If the world clearly knew which habits create success, happiness, and prosperity, everyone would practice them because everyone desires a successful and happy life. Yes, each successful person has different habits. Some read books and only become heavy readers, while others apply knowledge to create value. Therefore, habits are not the ultimate truth. Later, people saw that action create habits. Action, action create habits. Action. Habits shape characters. Habits shape character or personality, and character, determine choice. Determine choice. So the words began emphasizing that people must take action. Good actions are believed to reduce good habits, good character, and good outcomes. But not everyone who acts a lot becomes successful. Some stay busy all day, yet that did not represent success. Gradually, we realize that action is still not the root cause of changing life outcomes. And I came to a higher conclusion that is talk, talk. And the world began to value people who had strong thoughts. Good thoughts produces good action. Good action produces good habits. Good habits produce good character, and good characters or personalities produce a good destiny, a good outcome. And from that point, I value people based on their talk. Many classes about talks were created to guide people toward positivity. But even when told to have good thoughts repeatedly, some people still cannot think that way. And finally, I realized that thoughts is not the root of the transformation process. We want to have good thoughts about our husband and our child, but we cannot. We want to generate positive thought for society, but we cannot bring it forth. And the wise discover are the experts discover that thoughts is not the root. But continue researching and conclude that thoughts is not yet the root of human change. And they found a term belief. 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 Belief self-talks. Belief self-talk. Self. Belief self-talk. For example, when I decided to study to become an inner being consulting and coaching specialist, a family member told me to stop, saying how could I possibly succeed? That no matter how long I tried there would be no desirable outcome and it would be better to quit. On the surface, the words may sound like a lack of truth, but looking deeper, I realized it was still a belief. It was simply a belief in the direction that I could not do it. Human beings always hold a belief about something. Either they believe it can be done or they believe it cannot be done. And that belief shapes their talk. That belief shapes their talk. If I believe I cannot do it, I will choose to stop. If I believe I can do it, I will choose to continue. Belief, self-talk. Thoughts to lead to action. Action from habit. Habits from character or personality. Personalities determine choice. And choice create the desirable outcome of life. Here, we need to distinguish between conscious desire and inner belief. Yes, conscious desire and inner belief. Conscious desire is what we say outwardly that we want to succeed and contribute. But inner belief truly determine whether we will not on the way or not. When we understand it, we no longer try to convince others to believe in ours, but comes back to examine our own inner belief. Yes, conscious desire. Conscious desire. Conscious. Conscious desire. And inner belief. Inner belief. Inner belief. Inner belief. Yes. For example, when someone gets married, and from this perspective, whether a woman or man, they all expect a harmonious marriage. At the level of conscious design, anyone who gets married design a harmonious marriage. At the level of conscious design, human beings always move toward good things. When when acting, people aim for success and results. When living, people aim for happiness and wealth. But whenever conscious design is mentioned, it refers to good things. However, somewhere within, The inner belief of a person is in in oppositions to the conscious desire. Over time, what usually wins in the inner belief rather than the conscious desire. Therefore, from this perspective, every result and every choice of a person come from the belief they hold. If there is a formula that transforms every conscious desire into inner belief, then a person will achieve all the dreams of their life. Belief, belief, belief self, yes, belief self talks. Belief determine human choice. Belief determine human choice. This is a very important realization. Yes. From now on, someone makes a choice, recognize that they hold a belief in that direction. Therefore, they make that choice. Set aside character, habit, action, talks. Focus on belief. Because when a person has made choice, it means they already hold that belief. If you want to change a person's choice, if you want to change a person's choice, you must influence their inner belief. When facing someone with very particular decisions, recognize that inner belief has created. Inner belief, inner belief created that choice. Set aside character, set aside character, personality, habit, action, and talk. Simply remember that because they hold that belief, they make that choice. They make that choice. Do not ask why they make that choice. Conclude that inner belief has led to that decision. When this realization is clear, you can support others in a more accurate and profound way. When someone reads with this awareness, we begin to ask whether we want to change the choice. If the choice, if that choice is not rosy. For example, when a child chooses to study or not to study, chooses to lay or to attend school, those are choices that create corresponding outcomes. The results may be academic difficulty or improved academic performance. There are children who only want to study all day and never lay. That is not necessarily what we desire. Because if they only study without balance, learning loses its holistic meanings of development. There are also children who spend all day playing and refuse to study. Each of those choices reflects an inner belief that the child is holding. Therefore, we do not focus on why the child makes that choice, but only on what inner belief leads the child to that choice. So if we want to change a person's choice or change our own choice, we must change the inner belief. We change the inner belief. Next, we ask an essential question. What determines a person's belief? What determines a person's belief? What determines a person's belief? And is our lesson that enlightened master have pointed out that the mental image sits in our mind determine our belief. Yeah, the image, the image. The mental image shapes thoughts, action, habit, personalities, determine choice, and produce the outcome of our life. We will support you in understand the power of mental images and how they determine life outcome. Offer a small exercise so that we can experience the power of mental images. You two loved ones, and you five words that evokes mental images, represents your feeling and perceptions about them. Write down those five words naturally without over analyzing. After that, we will analyze together to see why mental images determine a person's life outcome. In one session, I invited a student to share about true love, one for whom she had just written five words that evoke immense mental images in her mind. The first person she mentioned was her father. The words that appeared very quickly in her mind were drinking, gambling, uh, gambling, gambling, patriarchal, patriarchal, infidelity, and scolding his wife and children. We do not know whether the father were right or wrong. We also do not elevate what kind of person he was. We simply guided the whole class to look at one single point. When it is a mental image in the mind for many years, what will the outcome of that relationship be? It consists of mental images continue, continue, continually exist in that way, the relationship can hardly become desirable. The student share that those images had existed since she first became aware, and they still remain until now. She wished to remove the ima- im- images from her mind. We do not rush to talk about removing them, but have her see an important awareness. These mental images represent her inner belief about her father, and that inner belief shaped her talk, her emotion, and the entire way she interacts with him. When a person truly acknowledges that the root cause I begin with oneself, they begin to turn inward instead of only looking outward. When inner belief changes, mental images change, and life outcome change accordingly. Yes. At this very moment, based on my experience accompanying the inner cause, I also share that the student had not fully acknowledged that the root cause of life begins with herself, because it is extremely difficult to accept. When she had yet understood things, her father has already expressed the behavior living daily and displaying them right before her eyes, creating such mental images in her mind. So, how could it be said that everything begins from oneself? Not only that, but other events in life from children to people around her when she observes and sees them that way. She then forms the mental image in her mind. But if we stop that level of understanding, it becomes very difficult for a person to change. Therefore, today I use this very context to help us understand how the power of mental image sits determine the results of a person's life, and why mental image mental image determine results is because they are the cause within human life from a scientific perspective. And because on phenomena phenomena possess emptiness, they have infinite potential and the potential to become anything depending on the perceiver. Yes. Yes. Emptiness. Emptiness. If at this very moment we define who our Christ is according to our perception, then throughout our life in our mind, the child will remain that person. But if the child is nobody, the child can become anybody. On phenomena possess emptiness. Therefore, they hold infinite potential. When we are nobody, we can become anybody. But once we have already become somebody in our fixed identity, we know we can no longer become anyone else. In itself, phenomenon is nothing. What is become is the result of the mental images projected from our mind. Yes. What is become is the result of the mental image projected from our mind. When we state a fixed definition to someone such as failure, anger, and or witness, then within our perception, that person has already become that identity. And once defined that way, they no longer hold potential to become a different version in our perception. The issues do not lie in eternal behavior, but in the mental images within our mind that project our words and determine who that person is. If at this very moment we realize that the other person is nobody, then that person can become anybody. It is the mental images in our mind that determine this outcome. Yes, the image. On phenomena possess emptiness. Therefore, they hold infinite potential. When we are nobody, we can become anybody. Once we have already become somebody, we can no longer become anyone else. If we can the mental image in our mind, then according to the formula for the root cause of life, the human life outcome will also change. Change the mental image and life will change accordingly. If we change the mental image, the outer world will change because the outer world is a reflection from consciousness. When the system mental image in consciousness changes, the desirable outcome outside changes. Change the mental image, change life. When we change the mental image, we change the good cause. When good cause changes, the desirable outcome changes. Human relationship also change accordingly. A person may be cheerful and loved by friends, yet in our eyes appear as a failure or weak. This does not lie in who they are, but in the mental image we hold about them. Each person holds a different mental image. Therefore, each receives a different reflection. What others hold as a mental image about someone will be reflected back accordingly. What we hold as a mental image about a person will be reflected back to us exactly as we hold it. And the desirable outcome, we must change the root cause. The good cause here is the seed of mental image in the mind. Changing the good cause means changing the mental image. Changing the mental image means changing life. Change image, change life. Yes, change image, change image, change life. Change image, change life. A clear image is the outcome. A clear image is the outcome. A clear image is the outcome. All things begin with mental image. All things begin with mental image. Yes. A clear mental image is the desirable outcome in terms of cause and effect. The desirable outcome lies outside. The good cause is the mental image in the mind. If we want a certain outcome, we only need to be clear about the mental image of it. If we want to build a house, we must clearly see every detail of it in the mind without clear mental image. The price to pay is time and money. In image, in marriage, in marriage, if we begin without clear mental image of a marital's outcome, the price to pay is just. In educating children, if we do not hold a clear mental image of their future, the price to pay may be an entire lineage. Therefore, all things begin with the mental image of the desirable outcome to many cause and effects in life. We must manage the good cause, and the good cause begin with the mental image in the mind. Before starting anything, be clear about the image first, mental image first. When the mental image is clear, action will reduce the desirable outcome. This is the scientific outcome to many cause and effect. The root cause of life begins with me. Yes. The root cause of life begins with me. The root cause, the root cause of life begins with me. Begins with me. But the fun is not because of me. But the fun is not because of me. The root cause of life begins with me, but the fun is not because of me. It was the beautiful mental image in the mind while living close to someone. If we do not enlarge the positive mental images about them, the negative ones will naturally appear. When light is dropped in, darkness naturally disappears. The closer we are to someone, the deeper we interact with them. If we do not enlarge the positive mental images about them, the negative aspects will naturally surface. Each day we do not enlarge the beautiful mental images about our spouse, our children, ourselves. The negative aspects will gradually take over, no matter how wonderful they are in other eyes. In our eyes, they may become inadequate simply because we had not lived in alignment with the principle of life in human life. First, the principle that mental image determine cause and effect in human life from a scientific perspective. Second, the principle of light: when light is dropped in, darkness naturally disappears. When the two principles combine, a person's life can transform completely. Some people look at their father through a fixed mental image, a simple and gentle farmer, yet addicted to gambling, selling on family assets, leading to divorce. The children are separated, some living with their maternal grandmother, others with other paternal grandparents. If the mental image is kept unchanged in the mind, then throughout life, that father will remain a failure in one's perception. But when understanding good cause and human life, we realize that within the same context, each person holds a different mental image. One may see the father as the cause of breakdown, yet one may also see him as a simple farmer who loved his children in his own way, but could not overcome his habit. The mental image that he holds in the mind become the good cause. The good cause determine the desirable outcome in the relationships. If the mental image of resentment is held, the outcome is distant. The mental image of gratitude and understanding in enlarged, the outcome is inner peace. The outer world is a reflection from consciousness. Who the Father is in one's life does not only live in his actions, but in the mental image one's hold about him. Therefore, if we want to change the desirable outcome of a relationship, we must change the good cause. The good cause here is the seed of mental image in the mind. Change the good cause means change the mental image. Changing the mental image means changing life. Each person is born in a different context. Some are welcome, some are not expected. Some grow up in abundance, others lack in lack and separation. But what determines life outcome is not the context, but the mental image one holds about that context. When we acknowledge that the mental image determines the good cause and the present desirable outcomes of life, we begin to return to the truth. And the next question is, what creates the mental image? What create mental image? One. Yes. What create mental image? Hearing, seeing, yes, hearing, hearing, seeing, talk, and know, knowing, know. Determine the mental image in our mind. There is no need to rush to change. We only need awareness. Simply recognize change the mental image. The mental image change life. A clear mental image is desirable outcome. Some things begin with the mental image of the outcome. And when we recognize, we begin to elevate awareness thoroughly. The root cause supply begin with me. Yes. The root cause supply begins with me, but the phone is not because of me. At that point, we can decide later what we begin to change first. But first, write down the 3 foundation points. Change what we know, change what we know, change what we say, change what we say, change what we know, change what we say, control what we hear and see in order to change the mental image. And this will be slow in the coming days. Because in the human mind, we contain many things that we ourselves cannot fully explain. For example, we may meet someone for the first time and immediately form an unfavorable mental image of them. Yet, with someone else, we instantly form a positive mental image. In the coming days, we will explore the master from religious and spiritual perspective, so that we understood how hearing, seeing, speaking, and knowing create mental images. But at this moment, we only need to consolidate one's core realizations. The mental image, the mental image sits in the mind is a good cause that creates the desirable outcome of our present life from a scientific perspective. Let everything begin with the mental image in the mind. And the mental image, change the mental image. That's change life. Clarify mental image is the desirable outcome. Simply remember that over time, we will develop a very special realization. That is, the root cause supply begin with me, but the form does not come from me. If the root cause begin with ourselves, how do we want to design our life? We create it through the mental images in the mind. All phenomena have emptiness. Therefore, they have infinite potential. When we are not anyone, we can become anyone. If we have already fixed ourselves as someone, we can no longer become anyone else. From a scientific point of view, the good cause in human life is the mental image in the mind that come to reflect on their lessons. One night, observe whether any mental image has dissolved and whether a new one has been created. When flowers are planted, which naturally resist. When light is dropped in, darkness naturally dissolves. Make the beautiful mental images in your mind about your loved ones bigger. Then what is not beautiful will gradually disappear. Yes, today we only need to remember one thing. The mental image sits in the mind is the good cause of human life. And the mental image, and you change your life. Clarity of mental image is a desirable outcome. Let everything begin with the ends mental image in the mind. The root cause of life begins with me, but the fun does not come from me. I deeply appreciate your lesson today. See you the next part of our journeys tomorrow. Goodbye.